Yeah, so we'll do some greeting cards. I have today, I have cardstock sheets that I just folded into half. So we can work on one side and leave blank on the back side, or we can do some more. So I'll show you a interesting technique today. This is very simple that you can teach kids also. It's just 1 second of your effort on to get a unique design of your own. So we'll start with that first, and then we'll move on to doing some of these Christmas specific cards and some more other flowers. We'll see how many we can do today. Okay, we'll start with this technique. Okay, I'll keep all this aside. Um, Maybe on a black sheet, we'll do this. Cardstock sheets, you can cut it into a smaller size. And then we can make a bookmarks also for holidays. So using this, we'll do some of those as well. But for now, let's start with this technique. So each one will be having its own unique design. Let me get the. For this technique, we will be using some of the paints of your interest because it's a black sheet. I'll go with the lighter colors. I'm using turquoise, or you can use teal, any other colors, and then some white. Also, cardinal red, you can go with apple red. Actually, you know what? I'll go with color shift color. See the shine that we're going to get for this. And some color shift green. Okay. So what we're going to do is very simple. The technique is very simple. Use any scruffy or a flat brush is also fine. Take a thread and maybe if it's a thin one, multiple layers. Like I have 3 layers of thread here. Then cut it there. And then just place your thread onto this sheet and leave one of the corners to the side. And you're starting scruffy, we know we don't have to wet it to start with. So I'll start with the lighter shade, just load completely with one color. And then you're spreading to the thread, the color that you just loaded. Okay, and then I'll go with the second color of my choice. Okay. And then maybe red. More red. And then I'll go with the green. And I want to keep that intact. Going back, getting some more green. And that's all. So you loaded your brush. I'm keeping this side. And that 4 layers that you loaded, I think I mixed it up a little bit, but that's fine. So you just hold that one side of your, okay, and then take that loaded one, place it into your card, any direction of your choice. Okay. And then just hold it tight and rub it off. And when you're pulling the corner that you didn't paint on, you can go in any direction, like move it around. Just pulling it off. And then you come up with your own unique design. And now we can use that design and then do a surrounding painting if you want, or just leave it as a like abstract design of painting. If you see both sides, you have that design. And you can add more detailed, more paint or more combinations, and a thicker thread will give you more detailed design for you. So that's one simple technique that you can use. So that's a card done. So this is also done the same way, and I folded into half and then pull the thread, and this is the design. Each time you'll come up with a unique design of your own. Okay. So now we'll move on to using a 16 flat. Using a 3 flat angle brushes here. It can be flat only. I'm just choosing to change the color. I'm going to use a, what size is this? 5x8 angle brush. Or thicket is fine too. And some white. So it depends on what color you want to choose outer side. So I'm going to pick up white on my out and then sap green on my other side. And more of sap green and less of and then always, as always, floating medium will help you blend in quickly. You can use a small touch of floating medium. Is all we need. Okay. Then your placement front of your card, let's say it's hand water, that's fine. And so I want to have one leaf going this side, few going that side, and some going that side. So first we'll do the leaf placement. Touch pressure. First. Same way the other side. Shall I go closer? The good, better? I'm going back, making sure my brush is all loaded well every time. And always, you can always go back, reload and redo again. Going back, touch, pressure. Again, I'm having touch of brush. And then I'll have one going this side. So we are starting with the big leaf that we are trying to achieve. Yeah? And then we'll go with the smaller ones. my hand is not coming on the way, let me know if it is. Then one more time on this side. And 1, 2, 3 will help you spread it well if you're not satisfied. And always straighten and then do your stem right away if you can. Before it gets wet, it gets dried, because it will show separately once it gets dried. A separate line will be seen. So do it right away. Yeah. And we'll have to thin ones. If you want to get a thin one, all we are doing is not putting a lot of pressure on your on your stroke when you're doing. The more pressure you add, the bigger the size gets. I'm not adding pressure if you notice, or you can go with the smaller flat, the other option. So you're trying with me or just watching everybody?
Just
I'm
watching.
watching.
This one looks a
Watching.
bit tricky.
Okay. Okay, yeah. And so if you want to add more, that's just different types of leaves here. One option is like you can have one going from inward kind of and coming outward from the leaf under. And for that reason, you will not see the whole leaf here, right? But there is a leaf coming from inside. So here, so that leaf is coming from inside there. So the whole leaf is not showing. Or the other option is you can do the inside leaf first and then go with the outer ones. If you're not comfortable initially to do that. And then some filler strokes you can also have like how this one, if you want to have some of those strokes, those kind of leaves. Let's use because I have it on my palette, color shift green on one side towards the white side. Okay. And then I'm having this. Just touch, pull, touch, pull. All I'm doing is tip of my brush I'm touching and then pulling and keeping on changing direction so it's not on the same spot. And as you go down, you're keeping on increasing on the width of your strokes. So that's one. Going back, reloading. Every time I'm just going back and reloading, and I'll have one going this side. All I'm doing is touch, pressure, pull. Not just the tip of your brush you're touching. Okay. And if you want like using the same color shift, I'll have one leaf coming from inward. So color shift is another option that you can go with. Just filling in. So we will be having like some loading with the white again. So don't worry about minute details for this filling that I'm doing here. We'll come back to that again. The more pressure as you add, the more thicker it becomes. If you see there is like a smaller, this is thin and this is little bigger on size. So those are some details that we added. And now you can either use the same brush or go to a new brush. What I'll do, I'm not going to clean my brush. I want to have the details, colors that this one has. So I'm just going to rub it off, but okay, going back. We're going to go with some red, apple red. And then white. Always better to have next to each other. So I'll have some white next to it. And then you're loading more apple red and less of white here. See, I'm using the same brush. No, I'm not washing at all. And then loading, side loading white. Touch of floating medium. Then come back, reload one more time. And then for this, you can have a reference of, let's say, one. So we'll start from outer layers, right? One here, one going from here, one going from here, one going from here, and one going from here. So those are the 5 initial petals of the flowers that we have. You can always go overlap, no issues with that. Same strokes, but with different colors. We are making it into a flower. I'm going back. Whenever I'm losing my paint, I'm just going back to look. Okay. 1, 2, 3 to spread out well. Going back, redoing the stroke. That's one. Like that, we'll have, see, I'm leaving some gap and then going for the second one here. And making sure I have my white on the side loaded part. Sometimes you might be hesitant to, oh, that's a nice leaf there. You don't want to cover the leaf, so, but it's a good idea to cover and make sure you get the flower shape right. Don't think about leaves. Okay. So again, you're leaving some gap in between and then going with the next one. Touch, pressure. I'm going to start here. Go back one more time. Again, some gap, making sure you have the gap that we're looking for. And every stroke, if you notice, I'm going back reloading because I'm losing my combinations and I'm losing my paint as well. So make sure to reload it. And then if you see this one, I lost my straightened and I'm touching floating medium. And now I'm spending more time loading well, coming back, and then restroking. Okay. And again, I placed it here, but I think it's more of a center this side, right? So I will just go back on top of this sleeve. Again, I'll have to go back. I picked some of my green because that's not wet. So all you have to do is rub it off and go back. If it is still all looking good, you can just go back to the same or go to a new spot if you're not happy with. And if you reduce your pressure, you will start not pick that much of your underlying paint if it's still wet. The more pressure you're giving there, you'll start to pick up the underpaint. Okay. So we did the outer layer. Now we'll go and do the second layer for our. And for this, maybe you can have touch of color shift also to get that glow. You have color shift red on one side, right? So just use that color shift. And then white. And then now it's always in between, in between, in between, in between, in between, in between. That's what we're doing. Okay. So start from the one that you did first because that might be little more dry on that side. So always better to start there. So I'll be doing here. Then turning around. Touch pressure 1, 2, 3. Again, I'm going back. Again, I'm going back to my color shift and white to load. And again, we're going in between here. And here it's still lot of paint. So if you notice, I will try my best not to put a lot of pressure there so that I don't pick up the paint. And even if you pick up, just wipe it off and then come back, reload. Again, one more time. That's pressure pull. And in between again. And because I'm losing my red here because of color shift, I'm just starting to pick red and then go back to the color shift to load again with combining with color shift. Again, if you see same issue, don't put too much of pressure. because it's not dry yet. Or you can just use the dryer, let it dry, and then go back to the second step. Then we are on the last one. One more actually. You notice I'm going back, reloading every time, and straightening my brush. So it's always suggested to, if you're right-handed, keep your painting palette on the right. I had three on my left, on the right side, so I was just going the wrong direction. But we supposed to, it's easy way to keep it on the right if you're right-handed. Okay. And then so sometimes you don't get this sharp edges that you're looking for. Go back, pressure, get the sharp edge. And then you finished all the sides. And then if you think, okay, I want, more of a, we can do the center, but if you want more spread out on your leaves, you can just go back one more time. Quickly add, more depth that your inside layer that you want, or actually we can just fill it with the center with all the dots. That should be fine as well, but what I'm doing is just increasing the size here. Can you still hear me? Just making sure. I see a message, so can you hear me?
Yes, Shiba.
Yeah.
I do.
Somebody, Rosalind says her screen has gone black.
No, it's okay now.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I fixed it.
cool. I was just looking at the messages. So going back. All we are doing is increasing little bit on the size. Now I will overlap this one. Okay, so on the further center, you can do two things. Okay, now I'll have my color shift filled in on the center. Okay, and then lighten it. So what I'll do is have a dotting tool. Or you can use script liner also, like I showed in the last technique. To have some white centered dots. I'm going to use this. So just push pin will also do, just touch white. and then add. As you go out, reduce smaller. Don't keep picking. So it will go smaller automatically. In the center, you're having more bigger size. And also maybe because I have my color shift, I'm just adding color shift green also in the center. Now, so let's say I'm not happy with any certain area. You can have a filler strokes going there, or like if you want to fill some more areas, like you can also do these with the dotted tools. You can use the back of it and just do these, or use a scruffy brush. Um, any extra if you want to add, you can do that. And also normally having a filler strokes with touch of white will give, like especially on a darker shade, will give a better look. So let's just do that one. I'm with wetting my brush. All I'll do is load white on one side and still the color shift only on the other side. You can do those filler strokes to add a little more depth and details to your painting. Going back, reloading. White, and then if I'm losing my green, I'm just picking more green extra. Make sure your brush is straightened. If not, you'll get like thick ones instead of thin lines if you're trying to get thin. So that is one card. Simple and easy. We'll move on to the different second one. Not this one, but let's there's other ways of doing this. I had like, let's say, practice strokes we did, and rest of the leaves are not that great. While teaching, you are doing some leaves. So what I did is I just cut those leaves and flowers. Okay, so that's one other way that you can just place it onto your greeting card, like multiple leaves or flowers, like that, and add your extra details to the painting and go from there. That's another way you can do. We're not going to do this today, but I'll do another painting, but that's just an idea. Sure. Go with the white card this time. and then we'll go with the flat brush instead of angled brush. So let's do heart-shaped leaf with some 5-petal greeting card. Okay, so let's start with a big heart-shaped leaf. Wet your brush like always. Take out excess water. And then I'll start with the heart-shaped leaf with two greens. One is sap green and then on the other side color shift green. So I'm picking my color shift, sap green. I did wet my brush already, as you can see. So there is some.
Color shifts really work?
Yeah. So in case if it's not working for you, right? If it's a darker color that it's not showing, what you can do, you can paint with white first and go over with color shift. Looks great actually. Color shift colors. Let's see here. I'm just picking color shift on one side. Oops, spoiled my painting here. That's okay. I'll go on the other side for you. So let's just do some painting with the heart-shaped. So we'll have one big heart-shaped leaf going this side and one going that side. As we go upward, we'll make it smaller and smaller. As you know, the easy way of doing heart-shaped is like have a Y on the direction that you want to have the heart-shaped leaf. And then exactly, not exactly heart-shaped, we'll do it more interesting on little giving some wave to our heart shape. So that's color shift on the outer layer. And it gives a shine when you with certain lightings, and it keeps changing depending on the direction, like on the lighting that you have. It works, it looks great actually. And especially on darker colors, it looks much better, like a black cardstock sheet. If you're doing it, gives better view. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going touching floating medium a little bit, going back, and I was not able to fill completely, right? So what you can do, come back, make sure spread out well. Okay. And then you can go back. If you want to fill in your lighter shade better, you can always go back, fill it again. And then you have your, so I want my stem going that way. Going back, touching floating medium, and then I'm having this stem going that side. Having touch of floating medium will help flow easily. And as I said, as we go upward, we'll try reducing the size of our leaf. And again, we'll go one more this side, but here we'll have one more. And then we are reducing the size of it. And I'm making sure my color shift is loaded well. Touch. One, two, three, that will help. Pressure. And you can see I lost my darker shade. So this time I'll go pick up more dark than light, so that you'll be able to balance that. And then go back, restroke here. I think I picked a lot, so let me just rub it off. You don't have to wash your brush. And then go back. pick up, and then because this center got mixed up, I'm going to a new spot completely. Okay. That makes it easy. Again, reloading quickly, and then that's the second one. And this third one, we are going to make it more smaller. So don't do lot of pressure, reduce pressure completely on your third one. Okay. So you're having your leaf coming from heart shape. So same brush, because we reduced completely on the pressure that we're giving on the brush, you get more smaller stroke. And going back, reloading. Then coming back on the other side. Okay. And then we will do some of those one stroke leaves, not giving too much of thinking. Yeah. Just add some leaves around. Not completely one stroke, but we're just having curve to your stroke. That's all. And I'll add. So always add bunches of 3. I'm losing my dark, so this time I'm just doing my dark shade, and I'm picking some white to lighten my lighter side. So all I'm doing is reducing my pressure on my leaves to get the smaller. So I have some there, some here. So I'm leaving, if you notice, I left some gaps. So what we'll do, we'll have one flower going here, one flower going here, one going there. Okay. So now for the flower, 5-petal flower, we use sorry, I'm just putting this in water and then going back to our earlier brush, not this actually, we'll go to a smaller size, 3/8 flat angle brush we're going to do with 5-petal flower. So just to change the color, I'm going to use white with the teal or turquoise or blue color of your choice. But I'm just picking white on one side, loading completely, because first time you might have to make sure go pick up some floating. I'm having floating medium on the side. All you're doing is touch of floating medium. Make sure your white is intact, not mixed up. Okay, so now I have my teal or turquoise, different color, sorry. And because it's white on white, actually it's a better option with to have some second shade, right? Not the same white will not work that much. So a touch of yellow to your white side will help. Light. Okay. So I'll have one flower going here, and again the same waving design that we had. One flower. Quickly, just 5 petal flower, but I'm not doing anything extra here. Leaving the center as is because we're going to fill up the center anyways. So if you want to increase a little bit on size. Pressure pull. And then if not lot of gap for the fifth one, it's okay. You can, they're never perfect on the same size, right? All petals are different size. So you can always go back and fix little bit, but not required also. You can just leave it as. So that's our first one. I'll have one here. Going back, reloading everything. Second one going here. We're going to do nice centers, so that's why I'm leaving our centers here. Without filling much. That's the second one. And then the third one, I want to do a small folded flower. Going back, make sure your brush is loaded nicely and flat. One folded one. So for the folding flower, you want to have 3 petals. 1, 2. So that's the second one again. And which direction you're trying to fold is also important. So I have 3 petals, and the fourth one you will go overlap on the first, second one, and then not completely finishing it off. So you're going again in between of the other 2, and then not going all the way off. So that looks like a folded flower. So that's one, and I'll add one more here. One folded there. Then we'll end up adding some more leaves there. So just leave it for now, and then one more direction here. So now now we have all the flowers that we want to add. So now we'll go back and do the center of each flower. So I'm using the same scruffy I had before, and then using the color shift on one side and white on the other side. Then doing the center with that. And the color shift is going on the bottom, white is going on the top. And don't do anything for the folded one, only for the open flowers. Okay, and now I'm dropping that in the water, and we will use the same brush. Maybe you can clean it off, don't wash it, and then add some more, just the color shift brush. Load completely with color shift color or a lighter green that you have, and then side load with white. Okay, and then we'll add some filler. Loading one more time with darker shade actually. Then you're just adding touch of floating medium, and then going back, picking up the colors, then having some more. So all we are doing is covering that as a leaves going there on those flowers, and then wherever you see an empty area that you think having a stem or some more details will help, you can add those. So this you can also do with fan brush. All I'm doing it is with the same brush actually, the angle brush. So when you're pulling, you're just like a feather, you're pulling it. You don't have to change the brush also to do that. And also, once that is done, you feel like, okay, I need some more fillers. We always have this filler technique that we can do. Using the flat brush, have some filler strokes going here and there. Or the other option you can do is just have a smaller brush, wet your brush, load dark green completely. Okay, now I'm taking out all the green that I have on my, and now we are just going picking up floating medium and just loading with floating medium. That's all. You're not having, let's say, very little of that green. Or if you want a combination of colors, you'll pick two colors, load it nicely, and then take out all the color, just load with floating medium. And then we'll add some shadow leaves are what we are adding here. So if you see, leaves are seen, but it's more like a shadow kind of shadow effect you're giving. And at the same time, you're not having like a messy look wherever you left, right? You're giving a nice view of So all we did is having loaded with the colors of your choice, and then you just rubbed it off with napkin and adding some floating medium to that, like a shadow color to your painting. So shadow leaves can go all around, and that will give a nice detailed look for your paint. We have one here. All right. So that is the second painting that we have. Any questions on this one?
No.
No,
No.
all good. Okay,
Okay.
sure. So we did one, and we did this, and we did this. You want to do one more today?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. So we'll do one last one, and then we'll call it today. So the fourth one, I'll keep this aside. And this is the third one. We're going to use the red and white for this painting. I have my red on my palette already. Just using that. And then on the white side, maybe I'll load my yellow. Make it lighter yellow on that. So now I notice that my paint is starting to dry. So all you have to do is touch of floating medium will have it flow easily. And then you go back, load your brush nicely. First time, always 3/4 of your brush. Then, no. So for this, you want to make sure your placement is all right. First, I'll have one here, and that is your first one. And let's start with these. Touch pressure 1, 2, 3. And it goes narrow as you come closer. Touch one more time. Pressure. Spread out. And then you're going narrow as it comes closing. You're loading again, getting your floating medium, just making sure your colors are intact again. Then, and then going with the second one. That's your second stroke. One more time. Touch, pressure. So if you're not happy, always go back. Pick it up, more paint. Let's come back striking. Then the third one. Touch, pressure. Or there's another way is like you can fill up the center. Okay. And then do your stroke. That's another option. So that you have enough paint in the center on it. Because you're spreading right away, you're straightening and correcting on the center also. That's another one. going back. I'm losing my paint. Whenever I'm losing, I'm just going back, picking up a lot of paint and then spreading out, coming back. I think it looks better with more yellow shade. So I'll come back, do the same for another. That is the fourth. So you're going to have 5 petals in total. And then you can always go back. Raise the, and then the fifth one. Going back, reloading, picking up. That's your fifth one. So you have your 5 petals. And if you're not happy with any, you can always go back, restroke it. So now what we are doing is we did the outer part. Now we are filling in the detail to the center to make it perfect on the center. That's one way, or you can do that right at first place also. There's always room for corrections. You have your 5. And also if you want to have some folding kind of to your one of the petal. So what you can do is instead of going straight as you go, you can just fold it like that. Because I already have a flat one, I'm just going filling it up is one option. I'm just correcting that. Get it back to its original design I had. Okay. So we are done with this. So now the option is like I'm darkening on the center. So you can use a darker shade. So here I have actually berry wine is a good option to darken your shade in the center. So all I'm doing is picking up berry wine on the darker side, and then you can either fill up from here to darken it, or using the berry wine and yellow, just do one more. one more reloading. If you want to darken your center, only on the border line you're darkening, and then you're just using that. Or you, as I said, you can just fill in the center just like that to darken in the center. Or let it dry and then side load, completely let it dry, or side load on the center. I mean side load on with berry vine on one side and remaining floating medium, and just flow, or just side load and just flow on the borderline. If you're doing on a wet one, just make sure you're not putting a lot of pressure because you'll start pulling. That's all. So we're done with that. And if you want to add little bit of details to your painting, all I did is picked up yellow on my border, side loaded, and adding some details there. Yeah. Sorry, give me 1 second. And then, so what I did is side loaded, and then I'm just with straight flat. You can also do the details like that later. And I'm having a folding kind of here. Same way here. You can have so this one, the brush is all messed up. So all you have to do is take out excess, go back quickly, reload, and come back to fix. Okay, so flower is done. So now we'll go back and take the strip liner. And we can dip in water, sap green, dark green that you have. Just load completely with sap green. Okay, and then any direction that of your choice. So I want my center to go this side. So I'll just add one more time. So that's your center. And as you come closer, you're adding more pressure to the center. Okay. And now using the same brush, we're going to spread out a little bit on this. And then you can add just triangle, fill it up. Okay, and now using the same brush, or you can just add the yellow and or you can use the dotting tool to add these details. That's another way. All I'm doing is yellow dots first, bigger ones in the center. And as I'm done with that, I'll have touch of white and then white, some white inside, some white dots going outward of your limits of dark green that you added. Then if you're filled it too much, you can always go back. Do that. So that's our flower is done. And then for the leaf, I wash my brush actually, and then I just picking green with yellow. And touch of red on my green side. Touch of floating medium. I'm just going to add one. I forgot how this leaf looks like. Let me check actually. Just touching and then adding the. All I'm doing is making use of the remaining thing that I can. Yeah. Almost done. Just adding extras here. So see, it's drying. So all I did is just went and got some floating medium, reloaded my brush again, making use of the remaining paints on the palette. Loading back. Using the same brush, I'm loading white on the side, and then just having some filler strokes here. As if different plants, leaves are coming on from the side. Yeah. So that is our card.
Very beautiful.
Thank you. So these are few other options that you can do, and also we can do stencils also. Yeah, so some of the painting that we did today. These. Want to. Already, any questions for today? Maybe we'll take a break, and initial plan was just to do 5 classes, but my plan is to continue next year, and I'll update everybody. Yeah.
Thank
Oh.
you, Shilpa. That's very nice.
Yeah, sure, and let me stop recording here. Yeah. So if you can see the shine, color shift, each direction that you move, it
Yeah.
changes in color.
Uh,
And depending on the lighting also. Yeah, it's a beautiful color, but especially
you
on
used
black.
color shift on this card also, right? The red.
Yeah,
what
so
is-
the red one, remaining little bit of paint that I have, I used. I think that's why that's giving the shine that you're seeing. Completely regular red, apple red, but this touch of color shift. I think.
color shift, okay.
Yeah.